Hi everyone, just sending you this little video from the town of Scilla, S-C-I-L-L-A. You might recognize the name. Scilla is she's a siren. She got caught red-handed putting the moves on the goddess Circe's boyfriend, who was a human at that time, and Circe didn't like that, so it made her into a sea monster basically. And Scilla, the legend is that she likes to sort of eat sailors and devour entire boats. Anyway, I always wanted to come to Scilla because of that. I really love the mythology. This morning I drove down from Bova and I went to a little town called Pendatilo. And Pendatilo is up on the mountain, and if you look at it, it's a weird rock formation, but it looks like a bunch of fingers. So I happen to think that those are giant fingers, and even the Bible says that giants used to walk the planet, so you know. Anyway, it looks like a giant town, but what it is right now is it's a little ghost town, and it was pretty cool. While I was driving, I thought of some notes to tell you about Calabria specifically. So highway driving in Calabria, it's not that bad. I'm taking a lot of secondary roads. Sometimes you got to really hug the corners because they're narrow and they're windy, but basically it's okay. Unless you get onto the main SS routes, then people will, like, you know, if you're going too slow, they'll cut you right off. Right in front of your car, they'll like zoom around you and then come about that far from like your front end, which cosa fe, like, you know, veramente, what are you doing, mamma mia. Here in Calabria, it's much easier to drive. If you're thinking of coming to Italia, Calabria is the place to be. The other thing I wanted to make a note about was the Italian language. It's good if you can learn a few words of Italian before you come here. If you know some Spanish and you know a little bit of French, you have a really good head start. I've been using a bit of Italian and I've been picking up a lot of Italian, but luckily I am kind of combining it with French and Spanish. The other thing I wanted to talk to you about was the costs in Calabria. If you're thinking of doing a trip in Europe, but you're worried about how expensive it is and crowds, and come to Calabria, because Calabria is a lot less expensive than the rest of Europe, a lot less expensive than the rest of Italy. For example, here as a solo traveler, I'm paying, and I've been able to find rooms, bed and breakfasts usually, for about 50 euros a night, which equals about $79 Canadian. Even if there's a couple of people traveling together, of course your costs go up a little, but if you look, you can find completely decent spaces, very clean B&Bs for probably around $100. So that's a great reason right there to come to Calabria. There is something that I wanted to explain, and that's about finding lunch in Calabria. So far, it doesn't seem like very many places have lunch, which is why sort of at the end of the afternoons I'm really hungry, because I have a little bit to eat in the morning at the bed and breakfast, and then I don't eat for the rest of the day. Thankfully, all the grocery stores are open. Generally, all hours, but everything shuts down but at 1 o'clock. And they say there's restaurants open between sort of 1 and 4, but I'll tell you, I've only been able to find 1 or 2. Plan accordingly. And then dinner is usually not until 7 or 8 p.m. If you're lucky, you can find it open at 7. The last thing that I want to talk about is dressing up. So where I'm from, I usually don't dress up at all. I'll wear my gym gear or my workout gear or my pickleball gear. And if you're lucky, I might find a pair of jeans and a t-shirt to put on. But here in Italy, people dress up, even just to go down to the bar, a place where you can get coffee and a gelato. And if they're going out for dinner, for sure, the women will wear a dress or a skirt. Rarely will you see people wearing shorts unless they're at the beach or they're working outside or something. So do yourself a favor when you're here and go and buy a dress. Those are just a few notes, and I wanted to give you guys just a heads up. If you're planning a trip to Calabria, which you should for all of the reasons above, then just come a little bit prepared. That's all. Ciao.